the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Barone, could you do our mission statement, please?
Yes, sir. Mission statement for Rocky Ford is improve the quality of life in the city of Rocky Ford, making it a great place to live and work, while strengthening relationships and creating pride in the community.
Thank you. We'll open up to public comment. If anyone would like to address council, please come up to the front. You've got 3 minutes.
My name is Gary Reed. Is this on? So my name is Gary Reed. I think most of you already know me. And Adrian, Gary Reed, just so you can get it straight this time. So I'm a little aggravated. We're still talking, I mean, we have another second reading for this legal theft of these funds coming up. And Nicole, I am seriously bummed out with you because you knew when this agreement was made, it had nothing to do with 4% until Dwayne says, well, I want 4% and I'm gonna get 4%. So that frustrates me. When it comes up, that needs to be dumped until that 4% is taken off of there. We've been stealing from those funds for years. Now we're gonna do it legally, but we don't need that extra 4%. That's just another bunch of money for just to be willy-nilly spent. So unless Dwayne wants to admit here in public, that the rates are going to go up for the citizens of Rocky Ford. How are you going to take money from a fund that is paid for by the citizens of Rocky Ford and yet don't put any money back into it? Anybody? I'll wait. So the next thing, and I'm probably going to get hammered for this, I did read this about the changing people out for these boards. And we have Nick, we have Thomas, which it seems like Dwayne really wants to get rid of Nick and Thomas. He's tried illegally doing it through changing the dates on their terms, and we have an attorney over here that won't seem to. I mean, he coddles to Dwayne, and it's frustrating that he won't actually tell Dwayne the truth, and that seems to be with everything here. So 2 weeks ago, or two meetings ago, it was, well, you know, like for this 4% or this franchise fee. A couple meetings ago, it was, oh, everybody does it. We've heard it so many times, everybody does it. Well, last meeting, we found out from the attorney that, well, no, this is not everybody does it. This is a unique situation, and yeah, it's kind of a gray area, but we're going to do it anyway because he's appeasing to Dwayne, and I get it. Dwayne likes power. He's got it. So anyway, with that being said, back to the board reshuffling. I'm all for board reshuffling. I get it. These two guys, they spend a lot of their own time as volunteers, and a lot of their money on these boards, on the library. I don't even know how much time Thomas spends on the library board. Same with Nick on the library and the museum board. And the frustrating thing, if you want to shuffle the boards, let's take the king off of Oakley. Let's put Thomas on there because he obviously understands numbers a little better. Let's do that if we want to do some shuffling. Nicole, let's put Nick on the planning commission. If you really want to shuffle without actually causing a problem and making it look like there's a favoritism going on here, then let's do it. But right now, you're just picking on these guys. Is what's going on. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you for calling out what's been going on in the past and not just what's going on today. Thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome. Anytime I can help.
Any others for public comment?
We do have one on Zoom as well.
My name is James Budnick. On Thursday, I had a customer, an elderly customer of mine. She said that her rates had already gone up for the utility bills. I don't know if this is a reflection to the budget that you're trying to pass. She said that they had already gone up and that she was concerned that they would be going up, increasing more. So it's just a question as to how that's supposed to work for some of the people that I do work for. They don't have access to automobile or internet, so they can't come to these meetings. So that's the only reason that I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you.
She was probably referring to the increase that is associated with the loan for the sewer repairs. That is an across the board, everybody gets it. It was $8 last year, it's gonna be $8 this year, and $8 every year for the next 3 years till it caps out at $40. And that is an across the board, that is not necessarily a utility increase, that is money that is specifically put in our funds and earmarked to pay a loan, to pay for that repairs. As soon as those repairs are completed and the loan is paid off, that money ceases to be charged any longer. It has a cap and a shelf life.
And I'll also add that increase, the last increase was July 1st of 2025, and then the next one will come up July 1st of 2026.
$8 each time. So it's $8 now. In July, it will go to 16 total.
Any others in the audience?
When I did speak with her, I was also wondering, is there like a moratorium or something that for somebody that's lived in Rocky Ford for over 35 years, that's owned their home and paid taxes, to not have to be hit with these fees that are elderly? Like, is that with just the county, or would that be with the town? Because it seems kind of unfair that somebody that's owned that property for 35 years can't afford to live there.
I'd like to add, just for 35 years, she's been using the services that are now antiquated and broken down and have to be replaced.
So
Therefore, the increase.
I've never heard of a discount on utilities or anything like that. The only thing I know of is that the county allows a discount over a certain age if you've lived there for a certain period of time.
For property tax.
For property taxes. And it's
That's
50%. That's this county or state thing. That's not a city thing.
Any other public comment in the audience?
Susan John, former mayor. The reason that I'm here tonight was to get an explanation as to what more explanation as to what the franchise fee was going to do. And at the last meeting, we said that there were going to be 3 readings. It's not even on the agenda. And for it not to be on the agenda when there's only going to be 3 readings and it affects all the citizens in Rocky Ford, the franchise fee, that we're going to have talk about a shuffle of all of the boards and so forth and so on. That doesn't affect the citizens. That's just an in-house thing, and where that is more important than the franchise fee, I think is an overlook or something, because you had an obligation to have another reading of the franchise fee tonight.
That's next week.
I got this. So, former Mayor Jung, so it does need to be read twice, right, to pass an ordinance. So the second reading was set for 30 days out, which will hit our calendar on April 14th. And City Clerk has been posting in the newspaper. You'll see it over and over and again in the newspaper calling for a public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Any others in the audience? Okay, we'll look to Zoom.
We're talking about moving people from boards and removing them from the boards. I think it's kind of funny. I mean, you had folks that were on the Chamber of Commerce board. One of them turned around and assaulted a pregnant girl, causing her to miscarry. He's still sitting over at the Chamber of Commerce. He got Nicole charged with disorderly conduct and harassment. Don't worry, I have the screenshots of those beautiful court cases that you had. You may have made those reports and those body cameras disappear, but I got everything I need to show that charges were there. You know, and she's still sitting on the board over at the Chamber of Commerce. She's still sitting on this board. And then you got the man here who decided that he wanted to go out and write a budget on his own. Forgive me, but the attorney who's up here seems to think that that's okay. I don't know at what point of that falls under you to be doing a budget for the entire city of Rockford. And then we have the possibility of the Tabor Act violation, the same one that your attorney told you weren't committing, but if you pass this, you will be committed. You know, it's amazing how you guys want to move people around, kick them over here, kick them over there, and yet you're not letting them do what they're doing. Those Nick and I definitely don't have a great relationship. But the fact that he's sitting there and he's working the library, he's working the street board, and he's doing it, let him keep doing it. Why do you need to replace him? He's not doing anything wrong. I mean, then you got Mr. Mullins over here who spent a lot of time over at that museum, and he's making it work. And you guys want to replace him. Why? Because they have a differing opinion from yours? You guys are bags of shit, bro. Straight up, Dwayne, you're a fucking scumbag. Your attorney's a bigger fucking scumbag because he knows that you're committing a Tabor Act violation. He told you were committing one, and you're gonna fucking ignore it, and you're gonna put it on the taxpayers of the town. You guys are garbage, straight up shit.
Any others on Zoom?
I like to add something to where if you're a citizen of Rocky Ford, we have an opening in Ward 2. If you live here, feel free to come in and put your application, or any other words that come up, feel free to come in, donate your time and energy.
All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Items on tonight's consent agenda are the approval of council meeting minutes from March 10th, 2026 regular meeting, and an application for special events permit malt vinous spiritus liquor from Rocky Ford Chamber of Commerce, the Gobin Building on Saturday, April 4th from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. If anyone would like to discuss those further, we can move those to the regular agenda. If not, look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
Call the vote.
Barone,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
Abstain.
Martinez,
Yes.
Mayor Goulet.
Yes. Tonight's agenda, I think the only, just kind of want to add to it, just so we'll note it on there. But under presentations and awards proclamations, 8.1, that proclamation is an action item, so that would be presenting that for approval from council. So we won't be doing a presentation on that, but we will add, I guess we'll add it as 8.4 presentation from Valley Light. Those changes for motion to approve agenda?
Make a motion to approve agenda with that one changed. Are we adding
Just to note on there.
well, yeah, but are we adding
The Pioneer's
the guy
Mission.
from Pioneer as well?
Dan Gallegos, the Pioneer.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I said
Okay.
Valley Light.
Valley Light.
I meant Pioneer.
Sorry, I hadn't heard Pioneer and I was lost.
Do we
Okay.
need to remove 10.3?
We'll get to it and we'll have to take action on it.
I make a motion to approve agenda with that note.
I second.
We have the second from Mosby, call the vote.
Mullins,
Yes.
Mosby. Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Mayor Goulet.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to item 9.1. And we have a public hearing for ordinance number 996, an ordinance amending Chapter 7 of the Rocky Ford Municipal Code concerning animals at large. And just check, Dan, do we need a motion to open the public hearing, or is that enough to declare it?
Yeah, why don't you take a motion to open the public hearing?
Sorry, I scrolled down. Let me back myself up. I scrolled down a little too far. We'll start with our presentations. And then, so the first item we have, 8.1, we have the proclamation, Week of the Young Child. So if everyone was able to read that memo. We did do this last year. Last year we did present it. This year they'll be doing Child Development Services. They host the Week of the Young Child. The last 3 years they've done a community baby shower. This year it'll be held on Friday, April 10th from 2 to 6 p.m. over at the event center at the fairgrounds. So it'll kind of be different community organizations who provide either services or any kind of support for young mothers, expecting mothers, and young children. So this is a proclamation declaring the week of April 11th through April 17th as Week of the Young Child in Rocky Ford, and this one would be looking just for an approval on this. Again, we'll be presenting it to them in person the day of that community baby shower.
Motion that we approve the proclamation for the Week of the Young Child.
Second.
Called.
Do motions during presentations, or does it need to be under new business?
Well, we
We'll do it.
kind of
Okay.
noted. No, we noted this one that we'll take
Okay.
action on this one.
Okay, all right. Okay, so first from Roberts and second from Barone.
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Mayor Budelay.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to our end of year report. Public Works Director Rick Long.
Hi guys. So I've got a handout for you guys, and then what I'm going to read, I'll keep it shorter. This is a little more comprehensive. If you're going through it and have some questions, I've got to try to keep it short and sweet like Kyle. And sweet.
A little light reading for later, in
And sweet.
case I need it.
Sweet.
So like I said, you'll have as comprehensive as we could get in that one, and rather reading it line by line, going to give you some key performance metrics from each division. The department operates 3 enterprise funds: water, sewer, and refuse, along with the Public Works General Fund across all 4. 2025 was a year of high workload, aging infrastructure issues, equipment challenges, and the constant strict regulatory oversight that we deal with every day. Some of the metrics for the water department: 346,693 gallons of water was produced, treated, and pumped to our storage tanks. 130,347,556 gallons of water, finished water, was sold. That leaves us over 216 million gallons of water that we either leaked, we can attribute it to fire flow, unmetered usage, main breaks, service line breaks, and theft. Pretty high number, 62.40% from produced, what we're losing. We, in the water division, we handled 1,710 City Hall issued work orders. Those were issued and completed. We had 369 utility locates were performed, 469 meter pit inspections and cleanings, 19 major distribution line breaks. That seems like more than that, doesn't it, Cody? 35 service line wet staffs performed. Throughout the year, we maintain strict process controls through routine calibrations, inspections, emergency response, and targeted system upgrades to our SCADA system, wells, tanks, pressure zones, and distribution access to ensure public health protection, system reliability, and long-term sustainability. In Colorado, drinking water systems are strictly regulated by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. That means we are required to meet stringent standards every year. Following are just some of the compliance standards we must meet. We have monthly bacteriological testing. That's for the revised coliform rule. Disinfection, residual compliance. That's for chlorine. 2 rounds of EPA unregulated contaminant monitoring as federally required by the disinfection byproduct monitoring schedule that we have. We do a full administration on backflow prevention and cross-connection control and submit those to the state every year. We're knee-deep in lead and copper revision rule right now. We, at the recent training that we had in Loveland, we talked about that extensively, and we're not getting these surveys back, the voluntary surveys from our residents that we need, and that's going to mean probably us going out and potholing, not only in the street, but in yards, well over 1,500 addresses. If we don't, I'm going to do another round and see what we get back, but we sent out almost 1,800 of them the first go around and got like 20 back. So that's going to be a major project for us there. We had 2 rounds of voluntary PFAS testing. We don't test high enough to get money from the state yet. And I don't know if we should pray that we do. I think it's a good thing we don't. We don't have PFAS issues right now. And then our constant ongoing distribution system monitoring, which are included in daily rounds of calibrations. Failure in any of these areas results in violations, public notice requirements, and potential cease and desist orders, enforcement actions, and civil penalties. In 2025, we underwent a comprehensive state sanitary survey of the entire distribution system, and that was conducted by state regulators, not us in-house. Results were 0 violations, 0 deficiencies. Something to be pretty proud of for our city, I believe. Our system continues to meet stringent requirements. There are many systems across the state that struggle to maintain compliance. That has not been the case here in Rocky Ford. For the sewer division, we had 187,595,827 total gallons of influent water treated at our sewer lagoons. We had an estimated 78 million gallons of I&I introduced into the collection system. I'm sure everybody knows what I&I is by now. Not sewer water getting into our system, and we're paying to treat it out at the sewer lagoons. Had many meetings on that issue while we were training this, which was really good. 260 times we performed daily rounds, cleanings, inspections, and documentations were completed. We submitted 12 discharge monitoring reports. Those are DMRs. They were completed and submitted on time. DMRs are a core regulatory requirement for our wastewater utility here and are mandated and strictly overseen by the CDPHE, which not only regulates our treatment plant, but also establishes and enforces requirements for our collection system. The CDPHE sets the state mandates we must follow, including collection system operation, maintenance expectations, and reporting obligations to prevent sanitary sewer overflows and protect public health. The DMR is a formal monthly report where we document and certify that our treated effluent meets all permit levels before it's discharged. This includes laboratory sampling analysis of parameters such as biochemical oxygen, biochemical demand, and total dissolved solids, nutrient levels, and other permit-specific limits, along with flow monitoring and operational data. And it, just to add in, it's challenging with our old sewer lagoons. Our sewer lagoons, and I know they weren't built that long ago, but you know, all the trainings we had, especially up there talking about what we have. I know, Stacy, we were talking about, you know, trying to get bubblers and all that kind of stuff in there. I met with one of the vendors there, and she actually gave a class, and they have solar now. They have solar. We won't have any, and you guys know what we spend on electrical out there. I'm sure you do. It's big bucks, and it's solar powered now, which is really neat. I'm actually going to have her come down and give a presentation. So to further our standing, the state conducted an extensive compliance inspection at the end of 2024, and the review found no violations within our system. This inspection is good for 3 years and is a direct reflection of the hard work that goes into maintaining compliance every day for this city. Master plan update. The collection system master plan continues to move forward as scheduled. We have successfully completed the survey stage of the project, which provided critical field data needed to accurately assess the system conditions and identify priority areas. Based on that information, we have now transitioned into the engineering phase. This is a significant step forward as it moves the project from planning to implementation. At this time, we anticipate breaking ground later this year. Have our fingers crossed on that. This is big for our city, and it kind of gets to what you were talking about for the money to pay for it. And then that will fall off. Refuse division, some of the metrics, we hauled 483 tons was picked up to the landfill. That's over close to 5.5 million pounds total of refuse picked up and hauled. We had 260 routes completed for the year. We had 1,266 City Hall generated work orders completed for the refuse department. We performed 4 infield quarterly tote audits where we go out and look at an address, know what they're paying for, and if they have more totes, we take them. And that nets us more totes every time we do it. We had 23 paid bulk pickups, and we had a total of 2,490 NTOs called in by the route driver last year. NTO is no towed out. And I believe we're charging if we got to go back out for it. I don't have those numbers, but one of the poor people in there today had to count all the NTOs from last year. I felt bad. So despite significant staffing challenges throughout the year, the refuse division continued to meet its core responsibilities. We experienced ongoing difficulty maintaining staffing levels and on many occasions relied on personnel from other divisions to step in and support operations. Even with those challenges, no routes were missed, no service, and service was delivered consistently each day. Public Works, some of the metrics for it, 256 City Hall generator work orders were completed. We had 290 after-hour emergency dispatch calls received and responded to. We filled 480 potholes. We used 87 tons of hot mix asphalt, 115 bags of cold patch. We had 41 in-house work orders completed for vehicle and equipment maintenance, and we issued 52 zoning permits were approved for that year. Beyond utilities support, the department is responsible for streets, stormwater management, fleet and equipment maintenance, facility maintenance, parks maintenance, zoning compliance, right-of-way cleaning and upkeep, intergovernmental agreements with Otero County, mosquito spraying, weed abatement, emergency response, and event setup and tear down. And I'm sure I forgot some. All Public Works employees participate in a 24/7 on-call rotation, responding to after-hour emergencies across all systems. Training is outlined in detail in the folder, but I do want to emphasize that we place a strong priority on it across all divisions. We work hard to ensure that not only our new hires receive the training they need, but all employees continue to develop and stay current in their roles. Balancing those training demands with daily operational workloads is challenging at best. However, we have remained committed to knowledge transfer, maintaining operational consistency, and building a resilient workforce. You guys have budget papers in there. I think that's what you're talking about tonight, right? 25 fiscal year-end budget reflects a disciplined and responsible approach to managing public work expenditures across all funds while continuing to meet demands on our infrastructure. These are all expenditure numbers that I'm going to give you now. So the water fund, we were at 77% of our expenditure budget. Sewer fund was at 61%. Garbage fund was at 95%, which those are pretty much set. I hope we get a heads up if and when they raise fees at the landfill. And you'll see Public Works was at 108%, which was due to a miscalculation during the initial budget. When corrected, spending aligns closely with expectations. These numbers demonstrate a strong control while ensuring compliance, reliability, and day-to-day operations continue without interruptions. Throughout the year, the department has prioritized critical needs and deferred non-essential expenditures whenever possible. We tightened the belt up a while back. So, in closing, 2025 was a year of focus, discipline, and results. Despite staffing challenges, aging infrastructure, the Public Works team delivered reliable services while staying within budget and meeting all regulatory requirements. Our work may not always be visible, but its impact is felt by every resident in Rocky Ford. I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of everyone that works with us. Their professionalism, their resilience, And I want council to know that we lead this department with a clear plan and a strong record of compliance and an unwavering commitment to maintaining and improving this little city that we work in. I got one for you.
Thank you.
Any?
First thing I think we should say is a thank you for everything that you and all your guys over there do. We're very proud and we're very happy to have somebody that takes care of these things. I personally am not getting up at 3 a.m. to go dive into a hole full of cold water. So thank you guys for making sure.
Urs Alley, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Urs.
So I appreciate everything you guys do for us. Thank you so much.
Did you guys see the back?
Thank you, sir. You guys do, everybody.
Turn around, Rick. Show the back of your shirt.
We got some uniforms in. Want a picture of it?
Printed locally too, I think
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been out there and I've seen guys on water make breaks, and I don't think people truly understand how shitty that job is.
And trash, and I mean, trash is a tough one because it's day in, day out. You know, at least the water's in a different location every day.
It's very often dangerous work, and it's uncomfortable work. It's physical, and you know, I can't thank your team enough for
Thank you.
all the work that they put in.
We have a great crew right now.
Because it just falls apart without you guys. I think you guys deserve that.
You guys all have an email if you read through that packet, which the packet's a lot more. I've been here forever if I would have read all that, but email me, please. I'll answer any questions you have as best I can. And if you don't have any more right now,
I got a quick one.
Yes.
You ever get the meter, the hydrant meter in for the theft of the water from hydrants? Supposed to
No.
order a new meter with the anti-flow back.
No.
I was told about 6 months, so that was never ordered.
I've never heard of that.
For the wholesale.
Oh, yeah, well, we just haven't been wholesaling. No, we haven't got one in yet. So that's still, we can meter when somebody comes into a water truck. We always send them to Eureka.
Because I usually see them up by the.
Yeah, they can
lines
just
doing
fill
it.
up and do that.
But how are you gonna meter it?
Well, we haven't been, other than, who did we let? We let the school, that's who was taking water. When they were doing all the dust knockdown over there.
Yeah, the school,
We worked with
the
the
highway
school.
department or construction on the highway.
All I
the
know is
sand
the
pit,
school.
they've all been, I've seen taking water. I mean, so.
Call me if you see that. Or
I have.
Call Matt.
That's why I thought we were ordering a meter.
He's been sending them out to Eureka
Yeah,
since that
and
time.
so there was clear direction from council that we wanted, you know, we still want that
Okay.
wholesale revenue, we just need it to be metered.
Okay.
So that kind of direction was to get a meter on there, that way.
Did you guys set a price for it?
I thought they
it's-
priced one under $1,000.
There's a wholesale price in our fee schedule.
Is there? Okay. I'll have to look at
So
that.
we just need to start billing
Okay.
for it.
Sounds good. Anything else?
One other question I have, I noticed in my bill, utility bill a few months back, for the lead pipes coming off the meter. Now, is that up to the homeowners to check that? Or I thought they were gonna check those when they replace the meters.
We're asking through the flyer that if you know what yours is, to identify it and let us know. That's the nature of that flyer. And I'm working with the CDPHE to accomplish that now.
Just go to your shut off at your house,
Yeah.
Whatever's on that side of it.
The meter would be the one I'd be going to. So.
And those are getting
We're not
sent out
supposed
to
to get in the
everybody's
meter.
bill, even if you
That's not ours.
sent it back. So if you've done it, just as required.
Yeah.
Because I keep
Thank
looking
you.
at it going,
I know,
I've
and I
done
get-
this.
I get all
Why
the
do you
phone-
keep sending it?
I get all the phone calls too.
But yeah,
It should say, the CDPH gives us the format on it. We should add in there that if you did respond, thank you, and just throw it away.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I just responded to
Thank you,
Got
Cody.
the yellow.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
So mine was around the streets. I know I had talked to Stacy about this, so I don't know if we had got the information, but I wanted to just understand the HUTF and how that is, you know, it's calculated based on the, I guess, classification of our roads.
Yeah, well,
So wanted
I
to
do,
see how
anytime
that's
we do them, we upgrade them. And so when I was originally taught by Lex that if you prove you did upgrades to your roads, we would get more money. Okay, after our conversation, I had a meeting with Aaron Rhodes with CDOT, and he said no. So if we take a dirt road, put it to asphalt, we're not getting any more money. So that came straight from the horse's mouth. The only way we get it is if we add more lane miles. So if we were to take over some of the county roads or anything like that, that's the only way we're getting more money at UTM.
Okay. Yeah, because I know we had we were talking about that when we were doing roads.
Yeah.
The benefit of.
And that's how I was taught. And I set Lex straight on that too. I informed Lex. Thank you, guys.
That helps. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our end of year report. Finance Director, Kyle.
Evening, everybody. I'll try to keep mine shorter than that.
Short and sweet.
He did good.
No, he did not. Took a jab at my height. So. I think you're all familiar with this report. We've been receiving this for a while. It gives a pretty good summary of everything. I'll go over it briefly. For the year, this is as of December 31st, 2025. Like I told JR, this is still unaudited and reconciled through June of last year. So I've got 6 months of the year reconciled. I'm working on the second half right now. So these are rough numbers due to change after the audit, after they get in here and take a look at them. But in my opinion, it gives a pretty fair representation of where we were for the year. Okay. In the month of December, the general fund claim on pooled cash increased by $82,000, which is the first time in some time where we actually increased the pooled cash account, which was a good thing. Obviously, at the end of December, we should have been at our budget target of 100% for the year in both revenues and expenditures. If you look at the revenues, we were off by 9.16% as far as the revenues. That can be mostly attributed, again, overestimating what our revenues were going to be in some of the accounts. As far as the expenditures, broken down as usual between general government, public safety, public works, and culture and recreation. You can see the percentage of the expenditures as to where they are. Total expenditures for the year, we hit 92.76, so we were under our actual budget as far as where we budgeted for, but we still were running a deficit balance. We lost $129,000 in December, which is kind of held true for most of the year. Even though our pool cash account increased, we still had a net operating loss of $129,000. Okay. Again, if you look at the percentages for the year, general government was basically 10%, 9.55. Public safety was 72%. Public works was 8.57, and culture and recreation was 9.86. For the year, we lost $1,054,471.78. Again, not a solid number, but it's going to come in there somewhere pretty close to that. Which, again, as usual, I'll warn that we really need to take a look at the expenditure side and work on that as well. So, this is the general fund. I'm going to go briefly over the enterprise funds, unless anybody has any questions on this report. If you do, feel free to jump in here.
I'll jump in on that one, Kyle.
Go ahead.
So looking at the 2025 budget, can you kind of talk to me about the budget numbers, not the actuals, but our revenues and then that expenditures item, and what the changes were from the initial budget?
Primarily, as far as the revenue side, we projected $300-something thousand from the IFT program, and I believe it was somewhere around the $400,000 to $500,000 range in the bottom of we didn't hit those numbers. So revenues, of course, anytime you have something like that, the expenditures also aren't there to go along with those revenues. So, the fact that the revenues were at 90%, and the expenditures were 92%, means that we were pretty good on the budget. We just compared to cost compared to revenue, it's just we overestimated revenue. Living on, I guess. Is that what you're
No. So if you look at the budgeted revenue and expenditure, so there's a discrepancy there from what we approved for the 2025 budget. Can you kind of talk to me about how that changes from what was approved for 2025? So we're looking at 4.4 on the revenues, and we're looking at 5.4 approximately on the expenses.
You are correct. I don't have an answer off the top of my head on that, Dwayne. I have to get back to you on that. My only assumption is the number in this report at 5.4.
So what I'm seeing is the discrepancy is the revenue number is not the same.
Oh, right, between the 4.4 and the 5.4, meaning they should bound or match each other.
The approved 2025 is that 5.4 number on top and bottom, zeroed out.
Yeah, I don't know why I have that number in there.
If you could follow up with us on that one.
I will. I'll get you an answer on that. My apologies. As far as this report, still, as usual, I put a little summary. It's an AI summary of what we've done for the year. You can read through that as well. That's what I was looking for when I looked at this. The water fund. The water fund for 2025 had $1,363,010 in revenues at $1,263,755 in expenditures for a gross profit of $25,000, which overall, you see, okay, that's good. We didn't lose money. We made some money on that. But again, we need to think about it. It needs not only to make that money, but it needs to cover its depreciation cost as well. Any questions on that? The sewer department. Sewer department, we had 1.138 in revenues, and we had $789,000 in expenditures for a net profit of $348,000. 75,000 of which of that is set aside for facility fees. That's set aside for our debt service for our capital. In the garbage department, we had $712,000 in revenues, and we had $714,000 in expenditures. We lost $1,700 in the garbage department, which is the first time since I've been here that's actually red and red. So that's something we need to look at. Okay. And then that's
Any of that due to the truck situation we have?
no, not really. I mean, it was covered by insurance. We put it out on a lease payment, and it's not much more than what the existing lease payment was already. So can't really blame that.
Are we prepared for the fuel price increase that was the budget?
Well, as you go through the numbers that's in these numbers, if you go back and look at the natural gas costs and electricity costs for last year, it was astronomical.
It's not slowing down.
No.
It just keeps going.
Yeah, and again, very hard to budget for. You know, the year before that, it was lower, and the year before that, it was up again. And so, you know, I tried to look at the futures when I made this year's budget, but we were going to have Iran, so it is what it is. The last fund that I've got here tonight is the Capital Improvement Fund, which is basically, you know, our 1% sales tax. We had $487,000 in revenue. So think about that whenever we're talking about sales tax increase of 1%, that equates to about $487,000 to the coffers of the city. The end of the year, I'll go to the expenditures first. Had $198,000 in expenditures between mostly road repairs, sidewalk project, and some equipment. The end of the year balance, right now we're sitting on at the end of December, we're sitting on $384,000. And we're putting a pretty good chunk in there every month as we're receiving the subsidies. Any questions? And Dwayne, I will get you an answer on why that's not matching up.
Yeah, you can send that to all of council.
Yep, I will.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Sir. Thank you.
All right, then we'll move on to 8.4, and that's our presentation, the Pioneer.
Pioneer. Nick or Dan, I'm sorry.
Dan.
Do a little intro. This is Dan Gallegos. I'm sorry, I don't know her name. She's always in the office. Dan's a physical therapist. My calls go about their therapy. They offer here at 9 in the morning.
You're not going to make me stand on a little ball thing, are you?
They'll probably have me go down and get a show how I've been
to beat me up, bro. I probably deserve it.
Thank you.
My name is Emmy Romero. I'm the director of rehab at Pioneer Healthcare Center. And I just want to thank you all for allowing us to come here and speak about our therapy department. This is Dan, who's our physical therapy assistant. I'll start off by saying our outpatient services are officially up and running, and we are really proud of the strong collaborative team that we have built. We have an excellent group of therapists consisting of physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. And we're working together to provide high-quality, patient-centered care. As of right now, the insurances we take are Medicare, Humana, UMR, Aetna, United Healthcare, Workers' Comp, and we are in the process of obtaining VA, Medicare, and more. In the past, Pioneer has had a challenging reputation within the community. However, the Pioneer today is very different. Under new management with dedicated staff and our well-established therapy team, we've made significant improvements where people are proud to work at Pioneer. People are proud to have their family members cared for at a facility, as well as people come to our facility for our therapy services. A real shift in culture, focus, and quality care. With a strong comprehensive therapy program supported by an amazing facility, including both our inpatient and outpatient services, these spaces allow us to truly meet patients where they are, whether they're working toward returning home, improving independence, or maintaining their basic function. Our goal is to provide care that feels not only effective, but also comfortable, supportive, and meaningful for every patient we serve. So we're excited about where we are, and we're excited to continue growing. And we just want to thank everyone who continues to contribute to Pioneer and making it a place that we can be proud of. And as we continue to grow, we're really looking forward to strengthening our referral network So if you know of anyone that needs therapy services, they're transitioning from inpatient, they're living in the community, or they just need continued therapy support, please think of Pioneer. Our therapists and our team is ready to provide high quality compassionate care in an environment that truly supports patient success. So please don't hesitate to refer them to us or reach out directly. To sum it up, we're here, we're ready, and we're committed to making a difference. So we're going to continue to work together to build something strong and give our residents in the community the care they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I just want to say a few things. I came from Rhonda. Now, I came to Rocky Ford because there wasn't any outpatient services here. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to open it up and let the community come to us. And we are here for you. I'd like to demonstrate some of the stuff we do. If I could have volunteers.
Mr. Mayor, closest.
He's
One of the guys that
easiest
doesn't
to get
eat it.
down there.
Put you right here so you have
Use
that
me on my
to
phone.
hold on to.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about core instability and posture. Those are some of the things that I work on the most with everyone. Okay? So I'm going to have you put your foot right here. Hold on here for just a second. Yeah, there you go. Then I'm going to have you let go. I want you to feel how that works. Okay? Yeah. All right. Now hold on there again. Now what I want you to do is just tighten your belly just a tiny bit. Okay? And I want you to pull your shoulders back like this. Stay right there. And now let go again. How do you feel? It's a little more stable, isn't it? Okay, those are some of the things we teach at our outpatient clinic. Okay, Robert, Nicholas, they've been with me, and I've known these people once too. So we've been working with a lot of people in the community already. But I just thought we'd come and show you some of the things we're able to do. Okay, and we demonstrate through the demo. Yeah, absolutely.
I just like to say it. I've had very good treatment. The day after my knee replacement, I was in there getting therapy. Last week I went to the doctor. It's been 3 months since the surgery, and they took me off of therapy. Said I'm doing great. I was 134 on the end, and I've been very happy with it. It's 3 blocks from my house. I can walk to therapy, get my therapy, going to therapy, and going home from therapy. Convenient, save me the gas mileage, Lahana or Pueblo, and the insurance. And I mean, very good treatment. I've been very happy with them, and I'll be going back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And like I think Robert kind of touched on the end there, something that I guess even still, you know, I know when they were working on it and sharing that it would be opening soon, I think that, you know, the important thing that they kind of wanted to continue, you know, iterating was that it's open, you know, to everyone, outpatient, not just for residents at Pioneer. So I think that was a really important thing to hear and to continue sharing, so people know that if they need any kind of PT or TST, that there's a site here. And are you on, like, I don't know if there's different provider maps, or are you all on all those different maps showing up as a provider?
All those different insurances that we yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I also wanted to reiterate that we have speech therapy. I think we have the only speech therapist in the valley. So you need to send your people to us if anybody needs it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. For the insurance, Mr. Mayor, when I had my surgery, they asked where would I want to go to therapy. They thought I'd stay in Pueblo. I told them I had the surgery there, but I live in Rocky. And so they looked into it. I mean, the hospital looked into it and referred Pioneer, because I didn't even know he was here. So, yeah, people utilize Pioneer. It's kind of neat to where one room, 66 plus years ago, just in the room I was next to doing therapy, it was where I took my first breath. So that's kind of neat. So.
Well, and you, when you introduced them, you said Pioneer Memorial, and that's a long time.
Showing your
Well,
That was many years ago.
So. But thank you. I mean, I'm out. I'll be walking try to get 4 miles in tomorrow on my walk. So.
Thank you both. Have a good evening. So I'm still doing my therapy. He's like, I'm still on top of it.
Well, for another 3 months, they said it'd be 6. They just took me off the physical therapy.
Oh, we always do that though. I see him at Walmart going.
So now we will move on to the public hearing. So I will call the public hearing open. Time is now 6:57. We will proceed to the second reading in public hearing for ordinance number 996, an ordinance amending chapter 7 of the Rocky Ford Municipal Code concerning animals at large. Is that?
Said we need a motion.
That right there. Michelle, has this ordinance been publicly posted and meets all requirements? Thank you. All right, so I will turn it over to our city attorney, Dan, or Stacy, I guess, whoever wants to just take the lead and share any information on this ordinance.
I can
Sure.
do. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Stacey.
Okay, so this was first introduced, I think it was February the 10th. It's amending Chapter 7 of the Rocky Ford Municipal Code concerning animals at large. The city of Rocky Ford is updating its municipal code to strengthen the rules against animals being loose or at large. This ordinance removes the old definitions of running at large and creates a new section that clearly prohibits owners from allowing their animals off their property unless they are physically controlled by a leash. This ordinance is enacted for public health, safety, welfare, and includes a standard clause stating that if any part of it isn't found invalid, the rest still stands.
Yeah, I think that generally covers it. Yeah, this is just clarifies the prohibition against animals at large. And previously it was dogs at large and included in the definition. So this just makes it clear, so we have a very clear prohibition within the code for that purpose.
Thank you. Right, and for the public hearing, look to the audience for anyone who would like to share any testimony, either for or against. Seeing no further public comment, I will declare the public hearing closed. We can move on to the item 10.1 there. So this would be a council deliberation. So we can open this up for discussion. Anyone would like to discuss this further or look for a motion on action, and if you would do that with full title.
Ready for a motion? I'll make a motion that we pass ordinance number 996, an ordinance amending chapter 7 of the Rocky Ford Municipal Code concerning animals at large on final reading.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilwoman Roberts, second from Martinez. Call the vote.
Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet.
Yes. Okay, ordinance number 996, an ordinance amending chapter 7 of the Rocky Ford Municipal Code concerning animals at large, passes unanimously. So we'll move on to ordinance number 997. And kind of same thing, look to Stacey, do you want to just give us
Sure.
a background on this one?
Sure, ordinance 997, I believe it was introduced to the council on March the 10th. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 4, Division 1 of the Rocky Ford Municipal Code by adoption of a new section 2-4-120 entitled Municipal Penalties. This ordinance adds a new section to the Rocky Ford Municipal Code to ensure that municipal criminal penalties do not exceed the penalties established under Colorado State Law Title 18 CRS as required by the Camp decision issued by the Colorado Supreme Court in 2025, when a municipal offense corresponds to state criminal offense with a lower maximum penalty, the state's lower penalty must be applied instead of the penalty issued by city code. This ordinance formally updates the code to comply with the legal requirements and includes standard statements affirming its purpose, public health, safety, and welfare, and severability clause to keep the remaining parts in effect if any provision is ruled invalid.
Yeah, and again, Stacy covered it really well. This basically comes out of the People of Butte Camp decision from the Colorado Supreme Court, and it basically makes it so that there's a state statute that's a cap on municipal penalties. So basically, this just language just makes it so that if there is any penalty within the city's code that exceeds that, it's basically brought down to the state limitation. This is something that's required now by state law because of the Camp decision.
Council, any discussion here? No, looking for action?
I'll make a motion that we pass ordinance number 997 and ordinance amending chapter 2, article 4, division 1 of the Rocky Ford Municipal Code by the addition of a new section 2-4-120 entitled Municipal Penalties on final reading.
Second. We have the motion from Councilwoman Roberts, second from Barone. Call the vote.
Roberts.
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Barone.
Yes.
Mullins.
Yes.
Mosby.
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet.
Yes. Ordinance number 997, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 4, Division 1 of the Rocky Ford Municipal Code by the addition of a new Section 2-4-120 entitled Municipal Penalties. Passes unanimously. We'll move on to item 10.3, and that is the letters of interest for the Ward 2 vacancy. Michelle?
Public notice was given in the paper, at our publishing place, on the website, on Facebook, so multiple ways, and we did not receive any letters of interest. So just asking council if they would like to extend that deadline.
We don't. I mean, the idea was to hopefully get it quickly, but we still have, what, 45 more days?
If, just looking at the calendar, if we did April 28th, which would be a month from 2 meetings from now, that would be a total of 49 days from the day this was declared vacant. What we need to do is have this appointed within 60 days, or else it has to go to election.
So we're still within that. And we can hope that somebody steps up.
So on this, it would kind of be guidance on when we want to extend this to, and Michelle will take it from there on getting it posted and update all the information.
I make a motion that we extend it
What day did
to
you want to extend it to?
April 28th.
And what's the deadline? 60, what's the 60th day?
Well,
Like the
11
8th
more
of
days
May.
from there.
11 days
Yeah.
from there?
11 days
It'd
more.
be before the next
Yeah.
council meeting. That's what I was just checking into.
So if at that meeting we don't appoint someone, we have to declare a special election essentially? Okay.
How's that work, man? If there's no candidates?
Nobody wants to run, nobody wants to be appointed, but we're gonna force you to
I'd like
elect someone.
to speak to the residents, everybody that's listening. I mean, we get a lot of people that, I shouldn't say a lot, we get some comments from the video feed. We get some comments in here, and people, it's like I was, like, the gentleman sitting out here before I came on the council, I was coming to meetings probably for a year and a half, voicing my concerns, my complaints. And this is your opportunity. If you live in Ward 2, which is from 6th Street?
7th Street.
Middle of 7th to middle of 10th.
to 10th.
Middle of 7th to middle of 10th, from the north to the south. If you live in Ward 2, please help us out. I mean, we get a lot of comments, but we don't get a lot of people wanting to come here and help. Comments are nice, but please be part of the solution by actively partaking. So please, citizens, if you're the slightest interested, please. I had no history of city councils prior to start attending meetings there. After I retired and seeing what's going on, live and learn along the way. But can't do it without your help, people. Please.
I think I'm
JR?
Just a question. If someone is appointed, how long will their term run?
Until the next general election
Until the next
in
general election,
2027.
which would be an even year.
No, odd year,
It's an odd year, so
2027.
it would be 2027 then, that they would have to run again. Or run for the office because they've been appointed. Okay, right. Thank you.
So with this one, we could look, I guess we can do an action and table it to whatever date council wanted to do. If you wanted to do April 28th or shorten that up to the 14th.
I make a motion that we extend the deadline to the 28th of April.
That'll be the final one, so.
JR?
Just a suggestion. Just because you don't live in Ward 2 doesn't mean you can't go talk to somebody in Ward 2. You people are in a position to tell somebody what's involved in being on council. You're probably the best salespeople that we've got.
I did try to speak to a gentleman yesterday at the library when I was picking up my grandson. It turned out he lives off his second. He actually approached me, but he's off his second and whatever, so he's not in Ward 2. But yeah,
It's just a
make contact.
suggestion.
I mean, it's up to us too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have a motion.
I'll second it, yeah.
Okay, we have a second there. Call the vote.
Martinez,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Mosby, Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet.
Yes. Yeah, Michelle, if you will get all the public notices updated and reposted. Thank you.
That's the second meeting in April, right?
Yes. All right, we'll move on to item number new business 11.1. This is board changes, removal of trustees liaisons. So I shared the memo on this one. I brought this one forth. So just kind of touch on the memo a bit here. With this one, it's to recommend the removal of specific trustees and liaisons from city boards in order to realign board composition, improve engagement, and stabilize operations following recent resignations and vacancies. So this one is really just coming up from feedback directly from different boards on, I guess, kind of the board dynamic and the working relationships. So we did have 3 resignations from the museum board last July, August, that were, they weren't friendly partings. And then we've had another recent, I guess, negative interaction on the tree board. And then we've had one looking at the library board composition. That one has went down to one other board member now. And then the museum, that one with other resignations coming up recently. That one puts that one down to, I guess, one board member. And then the other final thing with the museum is kind of hearing of feedback of working relationships with our curator and the board. So wanting to address all those. This isn't about a board shuffle. This is about addressing some working conflicts on the boards, and by doing these removals and then appointing to different boards, the intent there is to get good working relationships so we can rebuild all those boards, get them to where they need to be with the numbers, and then build engagement from there. Stacy, if you have any additional anything there?
Not really, just that the library board was down to one formal or former member from what it was when I joined in 2018. So.
GR?
What are the lengths of the appointments? How long is the term on, for example, library board?
they're all different. They're all different. Some of them have some staggers. Some of them are 5s or 4s.
Find out from Stacy or Michelle. Okay, got it. Thank you.
So open this one up for discussion.
I have a question, I guess, if I find my page again here. Basically, I'd like to ask council members Mosby, Martinez, and Mullins if they want to be removed from these boards, if they would like to stay.
No, I do not.
No.
Happy where I'm at. And I think it's rather disrespectful to claim that some resignations from boards are somehow the fault of council members. I think it's a spit in the face to the work that some of
And
us
to
do.
follow up on that, the 2 resignations the mayor referenced that happened late last year. They were a little bit contentious. That was definitely not my intent. I messaged them informing them that their 4-year terms were ending before the next board meeting. I asked them if this was correct, and then asked how should we proceed. I never received communication back from them on that. Our bylaws state that members serve for 4-year terms, and there must be a 1-year gap between terms. I was approached and asked if I would support that. I said it's a board decision, and I can't make those decisions unilaterally. So whether they left contentiously or not, it's just what the policy is. Everybody has 4-year terms. The most recent one is not a resignation. His term just expired. Ryan Gates. I like Ryan quite a lot. I would like to see him back on the board. It would require modifying the bylaws, or he's going to have to wait a year until he can join the board again at that time. As far as the recent resignations, that would be Chuck and Mosby. I messaged them a few weeks ago, and Nanette's here. She can fill me in, and this is incorrect. I can pull up the communications with her. I believe I sent an email or a text, and I said, hey, we really appreciate all the hard work you've done at the museum. We like having you there. We'd really like to have you participate. But we have noticed that there have been some meetings missed, and we hadn't had a quorum because of that. So I just asked if that was something they were still interested in, if we could accommodate them with different times. And I also, asked if that was still something they were interested in. I was informed that they were busy with their business, which is being highly successful right now, and that they just don't have the time for it right now. Now, if there was some different communication elsewhere, I've never received that message. But I've always had great respect for Chuck and Annette. I do appreciate everything they've done at the museum. I've never said an unkind word to them as far as I'm aware. I certainly never meant to cause any offense to them. And I would be happy for them to remain on the board should they choose to be on the board. I only ask that board members attend meetings.
And just for some clarification, you can't remove me from the tree board. I already stepped down. That was.
It's a formality.
Okay, cool. Whatever makes you feel better. I mean, you can't fire me from a job I already quit. But it's not our fault that people have left boards. I moved to library board. Those ladies are busy. They all run libraries of their own at the different schools they work at. They're busy. We've had this 6-7 months. We've had issues with getting full board meetings because they're just doing things. They have kids. They have families. It was not a surprise to me that when our director and our assistant left, that the board ended up as small as it is. But I think that it's disrespectful for you to think that removing me from the board is somehow going to fix anything, considering the amount of work that I've put into the library. So you can harm the community by making these decisions if you choose. That's up to you guys.
I agree with Councilmember Mullins. We need to have people that are at the meetings, whether in person or Zoom or whatever. You have to have the vote. People have to be available for that. Mr. Martinez here, I noticed he's been donating a lot of his time at the library. And these boards, I don't know the people involved in the boards and everything, but it's my understanding that they have to have a city liaison, somebody from council or whatever has to be on these boards. Now, if they don't like us, they don't like us. I mean, just like when I went to work, and all those 40-some, 50 years Some people you get along with, some you don't, but we have to deal with it. And I don't know the reasoning behind all of this, but if they leave the board, then you got to get somebody else in there. I'm happy where I'm at on the one board, and I don't really have time to be adding more boards to mine. I can't speak for anybody else here. I know we have a vacancy that can step up when they come in, but yeah, you remove them, then what? Then who's going to fill them? But Nick's already resigned
From the tree board.
I'm pretty neutral when it comes to this. We all need to do our part and be on boards and stuff like that. The only thing I would say is that when we go from council and become a liaison or a trustee on another board, our job is not to go in there and take it over. Our job is to go in there and be a part of that and help them work with that. I'm not saying anything one way or the other. I know Nick has done an amazing job over at the library. He's put in a lot of time. People are recognizing that he's doing what needs to be done. I've seen compliments on how well he's working with people over there. This shakeup doesn't mean one way or the other to me. I just want to see the boards being full and these organizations being represented the best way that they can be, and us realizing that our role on them is not to be the leader on those boards, but our role is to participate and figure out what the city can do to help those boards meet their mission. I don't sit on any of the other boards. The only other board that I've ever sat on besides the planning commission is the pension board. So I haven't participated in any of these other boards, but from what I understand, it's not our job to take over them. It's our job to participate and bring back to the city what we can do to help them. So that's my position on it, and I believe I'm slated to take the seat that came open on the tree board, and I'm more than happy to do that.
And I'm more than happy to give that one.
And you've already, like you said, you've already stepped down from that one, so that's my 2 cents on this whole subject. It's our job to bring back to those boards and back to city council what the city can do to help those boards, and represent the city as best we can, and not take them over.
Yeah,
Because that's not our job.
I might like to add my situation maybe a little bit different as it relates to the museum board. Obviously, there's no way to take over a board. People come and go. Everything's done by vote. I am a regular seated member of the museum board. I was appointed by city council as a regular member after the museum board voted me into that position. So I'm not just a liaison, I'm a regular board member. And I would like to say that, I have a list of what I've done over there. Roughly 12,000 photos, 6,000 cataloged artifacts, hundreds of hours of cleaning, probably opened about 15 times last year when needed for public. I don't take any compensation. In fact, every time I go in there, I throw money in the jar. I work really hard to get along with people, and the fact is, though, that things have been done in an incorrect way for a very long time. And artifacts are being damaged, history is being lost, and policies had to be created. We created a scope of collection policy. The museum board did not have bylaws, but they couldn't find them. I recovered them from a floppy disk. The board worked together to modify them to most closely align to the best of our ability with the municipal code. I feel like this is an attempt to harm, personally, Nick and me, but it won't do that. It will not harm me. I give of myself to this cause because I love it. I believe in it. It will harm the museum. This is a 2-year project that's been going on, and it has another year to 2 years, and you could plan out beyond that, and it would expand and grow into something hopefully really beautiful. But it could very well damage this project, it could damage the museum, it could damage the library. Nick has been running the library 47 hours a week. for almost a month at no cost. He knows more about that museum or that library than anybody else. And frankly, I know more about that museum than anybody else in the city. I know all the procedures, all the policies. I've taken hundreds of hours of training. I've created training videos for replacement board members. I've created training courses, and every board member who's ever been out there has been given access to our cataloged software and a folder with their name on it, so that they have the ability to go in there and learn how to do these things and volunteer remotely.
I guess I have one other question. Does removing him as the liaison remove him as a seated board member for the museum?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
even though it was separate.
It's not separate.
It says trustees. So.
It's not separate.
Okay.
If there was a friends, that might have been.
Okay, that
might
makes
have been
more
that.
sense. Okay.
But the city appointed member would go or stay based on council.
Slight follow up on that. For if you are doing all of those things, and I'm not saying that, I think that's wonderful that you guys have time to do that. Like, there's no way in hell, I'm sorry, I could even think about dedicating 40 hours a week to something. I mean, I have kids, I have 3 jobs. I mean, I do a lot outside of this, you know, and people seem to think I sit around and do nothing, but I have a job and kids, and I work outside of that, and I think that's awesome that you guys are able to dedicate that much time to it. But I think that goes beyond just your role as this. That becomes a volunteer position. That is something that you have taken on outside of your duties as a board member. So there's a clarification there to me. Yes, but let me finish. I mean, let me finish what so. But if you're spending that much time working or volunteering at a place, to me that is far outside your scope as a board member. And I don't know that being a board member necessarily takes that away. It is. It's outside of your scope. I don't know that a board member is are there bylaws that state that you're required to spend that much time working there? So the bylaws should state what your role is as a board member, okay? And I don't believe that there's bylaws at the museum that say you will provide X number, you'll work 40 hours a week at the museum, or you'll work 40 hours a week. What I'm saying is there is not, what you are doing, when you are doing those things, you are acting outside of or acting on your own purview. You're not doing something that is required of you. It's not required.
It don't make sense. That don't make any sense at all.
So, but it doesn't. To me, if you have that much time and you're doing that, that's up to you. You're volunteering that time. That is not part of the requirement of your board seat. And I'm not saying that I don't think you guys are doing a wonderful job. I don't care. You guys can stay on the board. This doesn't really matter to me. This is just my opinion. If you have that much time, I don't feel like you could do that and not be on the board. Like, I don't think you don't have to be on the board to be able to volunteer all your time to do all of that stuff.
So, yeah, I'd just like to follow up. So we don't ask that our board members serve tons of hours. For when we recruited the replacement seats, which were readily replaced if the council approves them. In the next item, we requested that everyone does at least 4 hours per month. Now, the museum board does have bylaws, and those bylaws do have responsibilities for the museum, which are pretty substantial. None of this tasks that are being done are outside the scope of the bylaws. So it's stuff that we should be doing. I wouldn't want to be up there for as much time as I am. But the fact is that unless we get those volunteers in there, then it's going to be a lot on one person. So I really had a lot of faith in Jennifer Johnson and Charles Maxwell, and I have a lot of faith in Rick Long to help participate in that process. And I hope that works out.
I would like to clarify that I am not trying to take away from what you guys are doing. I think everything you guys are doing at these two locations is wonderful, and it's needed to be done, and things haven't been done like that for a long time. So I'm not saying that what you're doing isn't great. I'm just saying that being on the board doesn't require you to spend 40 hours a week there. It requires you to participate in meetings, do X number of volunteer hours and stuff like that. So that just to clarify that, I'm not saying that what you're doing isn't wonderful. It just isn't required.
And I'll clarify, because this is, we're getting into the work that was done and those things, and we recognize that, we appreciate that. This is about working relationships on the boards with the staffs you interact with that way. So that's what this is about. By making these changes, the intent of that is to fix that problem, get these boards working right, and get them built, rebuild that engagement.
You're saying we're the problem.
Then show me the problems that I've had with board members of the library or employees. Oh wait, there was no employees for 2 months because of a budget cut that I fought to not have. We lost the employees of the library because of a budget situation. That's neither here nor there.
That's a personal opinion. That's an opinion.
That was their reasoning. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That was their reasoning. Or you can use your gavel on somebody else.
They made a choice.
Donna.
I'd like to make a comment here.
I would like to say, Mr. Mullins is lying about a lot of things. I'm going to tell you what happened at the museum board. Mr. Mullins came here, I believe, with good intentions. He did and has done some fabulous work at the museum. I do not deny that, not one iota. That does not give him the right to try to take over. And I believe, and I am not the only one who believes, that that was an intent, his intent. Even our curator has indicated that to several people, that he felt that way. I, as the president of the museum board, felt him trying to take over my job. Made it clear at the last meeting that I presided over that I wasn't going to allow that to happen. Told him that right to his face. As he was taking over writing the agenda that I had given permission to the curator to do. And he took from him, is what the curator told me. Looked him right in the eye and asked him if he had done that. Said he did. I said, it's not going to happen anymore. End of subject. So he decided to work on, we were working on a in and out type program on how we were going to take in items to the museum and or remove them. Because we have a lot of things in the museum that shouldn't be there. And we need to take control of what we're doing. That was something we were working on. We had a person on the board who works for the fort, Bent's Fort, for the National Park. She runs a museum. She is very intelligent and educated about how to run a museum and how to write those programs, those kinds of documents. She was working on them. She didn't get them done. Her father was ill. Lots of things happened. We were getting ready to have a meeting. Tom sent something out with a program about that, a document, and to work on that. And our Beth took offense to that, and she agreed later that she was wrong to do that. She apologized for it. But before that, she did get quite angry. She sent an email to all the members of the board, including, and she also sent one to Stacy. She also sent one to the editor of the newspaper, and was very upset. She then apologized, realized what she had done, apologized for sending it to Stacy, apologized for sending it to the newspaper, contacted both of those people, indicating her mistake in doing so. I then worked very hard to get her to come to the next meeting and not resign, explaining what Tom had done, not trying, not attacking him. He wrote one, she wrote a document. Guess what we did at the meeting? We worked it out. We talked about it. We talked about what Tom had said that upset Beth. what Beth had said that upset Tom. We solved the problem. We then worked together. We had a wonderful meeting, and then we left, and then guess what happened? 3 men, Tom, my curator, and another member, Ryan Gates, proceeded to attack her again, verbally. Left her running out of the building in tears, again. I can't work with people like that. I thought I had solved the problem. We had had a great meeting. Everyone agreed. We worked together on this program, this document we were creating. Everybody thought we had a great time until we dispersed. And then I stood right there. I couldn't believe what was said to her. When she left in tears, I looked at Tom and Ryan and said, "What were you thinking? How could you treat her like that?"
What was said to her?
Ryan Gates said to her, "I can't believe you got so upset about Tom writing a document like that. What are you so worried about? Getting shown up or something along those lines?" And Tom said, "Probably." Just like that, you said that. Yes, you did. I am not a liar, Tom. You are a liar. If you read the documents you sent and how horrible, you should read them. They're horrible.
I wrote them.
They're awful. Empathy? Do you know what that word means? It doesn't mean sympathy. If you
How
think
about
that's what it
something
means,
constructive?
that's not what it means.
There's not.
How about something constructive, huh? So far,
He
you've
should
called
not
him
be
names.
on the museum board. He needs to be removed. And he should not be sitting here lying and
Why
trying
did
to
you-
say that
why did you leave?
I shouldn't be, because I can't work with 3 men.
Or is it because
who were
your
treat-
term expired?
No, I had not been on the museum board for 4 years.
She was
I
on
hadn't
the
even
museum
lived here for 4 years.
Well, there's meeting minutes from you for 4 years ago.
No, not
You signed them.
that's not true.
I asked you if it was
First of
correct.
all, can you identify yourself in your title?
My name is Don, now I'm not, my name is Donna Bush. I was president of the museum board. I'm the person that
Chairperson.
resigned, along with my sister, who is also a member, and Beth Cole, who is also a member. Not Beth Cole. Lost her last name, Dodd.
I would
Beth
also
Dodd, sorry.
state that Ryan Gates is
And no,
outstanding.
that is not why I quit. I quit because of you,
Okay.
and Ryan, and Rob. That's why I quit, because I don't like the way you treated people.
It sounds like
So-
you have a problem with a lot of people.
Mayor,
No.
Well, just
Anyway,
everyone else.
I wanted to
except
clear that up.
Your sister.
If you want to read what I did, what I said, you can. Thank you.
Robert, Mr. Mayor, I don't know, to me, this is all out of the blue, what's going on with these boards. But for me, I know when I got on here, it was like, there was a couple of boards available. Which one do you want on? I didn't know, whatever. But if we have council members that are on the board, because we have to be on some boards, and if there's a conflict, the board, I think we should have a board take a vote of the board members to say we want this person from the city here or not. And if they do want to change, then it's up to us to change. But if their board says, in their vote says, keep what we have, we keep what we have.
Mr. Brown, I agree with that. I think that would be excellent moving forward. The only thing in this scenario is that there's not a board. There's 2 members of the library board, there's 1 member
There
on
are
the
2
museum
members
board.
on the museum board.
So there's 2 members on the museum board. People have left. People
that's
have
not my
given
fault.
feedback that they will not work with members here. We have.
Okay, then
we
show
have
me the feedback, because I don't get any, nobody
Did you
has
leave
kind of said anything about me.
Because of me.
Neither one of you recognize. Please.
We don't
Well, I'm
recognize you either,
speaking.
bud.
You're
So-
lying right now.
so-
You're saying that Chuck and Annette left because of
He did not say that.
I didn't
well,
say that.
He did
and
not
then you're
say that.
saying that her term
So
didn't
we-
expire, but
we
we have
have-
documents saying they did.
We have a scenario where our museum trustee and our paid employee, our curator, are not having a good enough working relationship where they cannot be in the building together at the same time. And when we have a city employee that we pay to do all those things, we need to respect them and their leadership in that role. And just like Nicole said, our job is not to go in there and take over those things. Our job is to support as best as possible, strengthen, build those relationships.
So the board members that had resigned from, let's just say, the museum board, when they resigned, did they say strictly because of a council member being on that board?
Some, yes.
Tom, for sure.
But you don't have that from the library.
They're 4-year terms. I can provide the document.
I've done nothing but support
And
the
I didn't
library
ask them to leave.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. Is this going to be a unanimous vote of all the board members, or is it going to be a majority vote?
It would be a majority vote.
Is there more discussion on this? I'd like to go home. If it's the desire.
Yeah, we don't have to, so I'd look for action here.
I move that this fails. I move that we do not pass this.
Okay, JR?
I think what we need is a little oil on the waters. Okay? I think everybody needs to take a deep breath and calm down. Let me tell you about 2 commissions that you've appointed that I think work really well. And that's the Swimming Pool Commission and the Arts Commission. They work together well. They do you proud. So it isn't all growl and bite and whatever, okay? So everybody take a deep breath.
Absolutely, and thanks for pointing that out, and that's kind of exactly why we're here. We're not doing a board shuffle just for annual housekeeping. We have had no negative feedback from the Arts Commission. We have had no negative feedback from the Pool Commission.
Cool, I'm on the Pool Commission.
Yeah, right. So we have had no negative feedback from the Planning Commission or any other board. It's specific to tree board, museum board, library board.
But you also haven't been able to show me any negative feedback you've received from the Let's just be honest here. I'd like to see, I mean, this is Colorado and America, and we're supposed to stand up for our Constitution, correct? I'm allowed to have...
Can I get a second? I made a motion that we deny.
Yeah, motion fails due to lack of a second. So look for any other action.
I don't see how you even have the authority to write the memorandum. These are things that are
Nick, so I knew you would bring that up. I knew you would bring that up. So in accordance with Municipal Code 2-10-30.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so in the memo I did reference that, just for anybody's peace of mind. Okay.
So just if I could chime in here. So I would agree from the code that these are all advisory boards, so they typically serve at the pleasure of city council, and that there would have to be a vote to remove anybody from these boards. But one of the things I think that would make sense is if I would go through a vote for each of these actions rather than kind of collectively, unless there's some kind of agreement to do it all at once. But I think it would make sense to kind of go through each of these actions, the removal and then kind of the appointment.
Dan, and on the agenda we have them as 2 separate actions, so we will do that part in separate. Are you saying that on the removal we should do a separate vote for each member?
Yeah, I think so, because of the way the code is written. I mean, there needs to be a vote for each one of these for the removal.
Okay, so we'll start at the top. First recommendation is remove Nanette Mosby from Golf Course Liaison. Look for any action there.
Does Nanette have anything to say about any of this?
Yes, she asked for that, Barb.
So I kind of echo what you were saying, Nicole, as far as I'm kind of open to whatever needs to be done. I still feel like I'm on a learning curve, so I feel any kind of exposure to anything at this point just kind of helps me out and kind of helps me to understand what exactly, as a council member, that I can do to contribute more to the community. So I'm open to the changes. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes or dismiss any of the good things that have happened with other council members being in these positions. So I'm open to any changes.
Okay, so right now we're at the top, so action on the first one.
Has anybody from the golf course asked for her removal?
No.
I vote keep her.
I'll second that. Keep her there.
Okay, so this one would be, yeah, so not to remove. Okay. Motion and a second, call the vote.
Barone,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Mosby, Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet.
No.
And I would say that anybody who's actually being removed, well,
Do we have to abstain?
yeah, let me think about that. I mean, there is a self, well, no, I think,
That is a weird one.
The Jeopardy
Yeah.
music gonna play?
Yeah, you know, looking at it, there's no financial conflict of interest. I mean, there's no
that's
financial
true, I don't know,
interest in
that's
these roles.
exactly what I'm kind of,
When we appoint these positions.
Yeah, I think it's probably fine for whoever's being removed to actually vote, because it is actually requiring a vote of the city council, so. I don't think that there's a conflict of interest, there's no compensation for any of these positions, correct?
Compensation? Somebody here gets compensation?
No, there's,
Okay. Go ahead then.
all right, that motion passes. So Matt will remain on the golf course as that liaison. Move on to the second one. Remove Nick Martinez from tree board.
He already resigned, didn't he?
Tree board, yeah. I already resigned from the tree board.
So that's
So then.
I'll make a
this one
motion
should
that
be
we
easy.
officially remove Nick from the tree board
Can I second that?
position.
Okay, we have the motion from Robert, second from Martinez. Call the vote.
Mullins,
Yes.
Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet.
Yes.
Before the next vote, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a comment about the library. Not about the library, but the comment I have is that I'm on the Arts Commission. I attend their meetings. I've missed one or two over the time. But when I attend their meetings, I always offer, if you need help, call me. You know, for the weekend or whatever, they got something going. And I pretty much leave it open at that. And I vote on, you know, some of the issues we're talking about and listen and take notes. And that's my extent to the grant. I mean, or the art. You know, I pretty much let them, I'm just there and I offer my assistance if needed. And I do a lot of volunteering with the Small Town Project. Spend a lot of time over there. I also do the once a month with the pet food pantry, but I have no desire to be on boards. You know, I've been asked. I stay away from the boards. I just do the volunteer work. So that's the only comment I have on those there.
So this next one would be remove Nick Martinez from the library board. Look for action.
Make a motion that we keep Nick Martinez on the library board. Can I second that one?
Okay, call the vote.
Mullins,
Yes.
Mosby, Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet.
No. Okay, so Nick Martinez will remain on the library board. Next one, remove Thomas Mullins from museum board.
I make a motion that we leave him on the museum board. I'll second that.
Call the vote there.
Mosby,
So I just would like to ask a question. I mean, I kind of heard the citizen that came up and had her complaints and discussion about some issues that she had with the tree board, sorry, not the tree board, but the museum board. Has there been a request for Thomas to no longer be on the board?
No, not from an active board member. One of the other one. Who's the other one right now?
Ryan Damon is not requesting that I do. And I would say you've attended our meetings. I think it's been very cordial, and I've been fair with everyone in those meetings.
So my vote is yes.
Roberts,
No.
Martinez,
Yes.
Barone,
The question again was he remains on the board?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but from what I heard, I understand she's no longer on the board, but there's a conflict. I'm sorry, I know you've done a lot for the board. I'd like to see you stay, but I don't,
What happened?
well, everything she brought up there. With
You mean
the-
she's upset?
Well, she's upset, yeah, but they had a couple of changes there. And it seems like there's some concerns, and I mean,
You're making a decision. Yes, what it is.
Yeah.
her verbal.
Well, just, you can vote on that. I mean,
I'll go no.
Mullins,
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet,
No.
3-3.
Okay, motion fails due to a tie. Look for other action.
I make a motion to remove Thomas Mullins from the museum board.
Second.
Call the vote.
Roberts,
Yes.
Martinez,
No.
Barone,
Yes.
Mullins,
No.
Mosby,
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet.
Yes. Okay. That motion passes 4-2. So Thomas Mullins is removed from the board. That concludes that item. We'll move on to agenda item 11.2, and that's the appointment of trustees liaisons. And note that we have my councilman, my memo, and then we also have 3 recommendations that Thomas sent over. Open this one up for discussion.
The
And there will be changes here with, since we don't have as many openings.
We don't. There should be an additional opening. It's not that.
No, he's saying these will not all be accurate.
Oh.
They won't all change because they didn't all.
Well, Nanette stayed with the
Lynette's
golf course.
stayed on the golf course.
Does she want the library also, or?
Well, I'm there.
He's still on the library. That didn't
Okay, so
get.
that's kind of, that's it.
So really, someone needs to be appointed to the museum board and someone needs to be appointed to the tree board.
And you've already said you want the tree board?
I said I would take it.
You said you take it.
I didn't say I want. I did not say I wanted it. I said I would do it. Again, I have plenty on my plate.
And then remember, we will have 3 others for museum. So Jennifer Johnson, Charles Maxwell, and Rick Long.
Are we looking for action here?
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the appointments.
The 3 that you suggested
2.
to the museum?
Oh,
The 3
are
for
we
the
talking
museum,
about?
correct?
All the appointments.
Hold on.
Well,
There's
but we
2
can't.
different things. There's a list of council people that need to be appointed to different boards.
I make
Which
a
there's 2
motion
of
that
them.
we appoint the 3 that I submitted for the museum.
There we go.
I second that.
Okay,
Which
call that
is-
vote. So that's Jennifer Johnson, Charles Maxwell, and Rick Long to museum board.
Museum board.
That was motion by Mullins, second by Martinez.
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Mosby.
Can you repeat the motion? It was kind of hard to hear.
So it's to appoint Jennifer Johnson, Charles Maxwell, and Rick Long to the museum board, and these would have been a follow-up email that Michelle sent over from Thomas. So
Okay.
these are not,
yes.
not on the memo.
My vote is yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet.
Yes. Okay, so the other two on the memo that are still relevant would be appoint me to museum board and appoint Nicole to tree board. So look for action on those.
I'll make a motion to, can we do them together?
I would do it separately.
You can keep your comments to yourself. I'm not here to listen to your smart ass replies.
No.
Be man enough to accept what happened.
Guys, let's bring it back to order.
You have enough to.
I am man enough.
So have a manly conversation outside of here.
Let's sit down.
Okay. Outside.
Okay, thank you.
Can we motion these together? Or do we need to do them individual? Okay, I'll make a motion to appoint Dwayne to the museum board and myself to the tree board. Unless someone else wants to go to the museum. Okay.
Okay, we have the motion from Robert, second from Brew. Call the vote?
Do we wait for Mullins to come back or?
No.
Okay. So is that an abstention then, or just an absence?
Do we have to wait for him to come
Is
back?
that absent?
I mean, is he planning to come back?
He said he was stepping out. If I can have 2
Yeah.
minutes to render my
Well,
car, then I can ask if he's coming back. Because I really need to go grab a drink.
Sounds like a great time for a breather. A
Okay.
motion to take a breather.
We'll take a recess.
Okay. We're doing okay. Yeah, we're taking a short recess. I'm gonna withdraw my motion and redo it, I guess.
Yeah, I think separating would be the smarter idea.
I'm just gonna separate them.
I know, but did somebody second? They'll have to reason.
Who seconded my motion? Was it Robert? Or, yeah, you seconded my motion. Would you like to withdraw your second?
If I did, yeah, I'll withdraw it.
Okay.
And then I'd make a motion that we appoint Nicole to the tree board. Get that one out the way.
Okay, does somebody else want to second it, or I'll second it myself?
I'll
Susan also has something to say.
I'll second it.
I second.
Oh, okay, really?
We'll do the second to Mosby.
Vote on that, and then I'll say what I have to say.
We have a motion and a second. Call the vote?
Mosby.
Yes. So it's kind of hard to hear.
Just calling your name for a vote. So Nicole to the tree board.
Yeah, the volume is, I don't know, it just kind of changed and everybody just went really low, so it's kind of hard to hear, so I apologize. Wait, my vote, yes.
I had that problem when I was on Zoom last week too. Like, this volume is very inconsistent.
Roberts.
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Barone.
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet.
Yes. Okay, so Nicole has been appointed to tree board. Other action?
I believe former Mayor John wanted to say something.
I do. I sat up there.
Come up to the front, please.
Okay. I sat up there as mayor for 4 years. And I don't know where it came from. I can't tell you whether, but when we talked about boards, the only boards in those 4 years that I was allowed to be on were ones that had to do with finances. And I was only on, for those 4 years, I was only on the planning commission and the volunteer fire, because those have to do with finances.
And Opie, weren't you? You did the Opie Oakley too, didn't you?
I was temporary for Opie Oakley when we lost
my
the,
mom did that.
yeah. So, but that was finances as well.
Yes.
Not for the city. So, you need to do what you want, but I don't know where that came from. I don't know whether it was a CML thing. I don't know whether I don't know where it came from. But for 4 years, that's what I abided by.
So I can touch on where that came from. So on those boards, those are specifically in our municipal code, and it tells you what the composition of the board should be, and it tells you that one member must be the mayor. So pension board, planning commission, those ones, one member must be the mayor. Planning commission also says one member must be mayor, one member must be another one of the council members. And then the other three have to be citizens within city limits. But none of our other boards specify that you have to live within city limits. Planning commission's one. So those are outlined in our municipal code.
Okay, so that solves that. But I felt like my council needed to be taking care of the other ones because I was sitting on the financial ones.
Thank you.
I understand that point of view. I mean, it makes sense that not to put everything on top of the mayor. I mean, you do have a lot of things going on. But Nanette, are you willing to sit back on the museum board?
Or Robert, would you like to do the honors?
Busy enough
yeah,
my life as it is, dude.
I have a lot on my plate too, so.
And museum board is one that does have a time requirement with it. You know, and does that apply to the councilperson liaison?
Well, and I think all of our, at some point in time, all of our boards need to have a volunteer addendum, you know.
Well, yeah.
Just because that's part of what keeps our town running.
I wish my board,
The Arts Commission.
I love my board, but I wish they came up with more things.
Can I ask a question?
Pertaining to this, absolutely.
Come on up.
Yeah, don't come up here and be like, why is the sky blue?
But you can ask us all about the boards.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, the reason for this whole agenda or calling to actions was because of people's feelings and their complaints. There was no actually policy violations or insubordination. Am I understanding that correctly? This was all solely brought to the board because of people's feelings?
You could say that, but what this is it's working relationships. So that is outlined in our board responsibilities that we all signed. So we need to do our best to build relationships and strengthen those in all the boards that we sit on, and all the other really the interactions that we have representing the city.
So moving forward, we could expect that if more people call and complain or have their feelings hurt because of words, that we can lose these board members in the future? If I'm understanding tonight's...
We're open to all feedback.
But those complaints came directly from people at those places, not random citizens. Does that make more sense?
I was just trying to understand that tonight's, the cause for these people to be brought and all this emotions and these questions is just because of complaints, people's feelings, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, look for action on this one.
I don't think that appointing Dwayne to the museum board is a good idea. It's pretty public, apparent that everybody knows that you and Thomas have had issues, and whether that removal is justified or not to anybody's mind, you taking that position could be seen by the public as direct retaliation for him disagreeing with you. And I'm just saying that from the public's view, it's probably a smarter idea that somebody else take the museum.
Can we leave it open for the vacant seat?
We could. I think that would be great. But for continuity, even if just unofficially, I'm happy to go over there and support Rob until that board is now there's 4 members. So yeah, I'm happy to support them until we have another person seated at least April 28th, and then be able to assign them, get that handed over.
So how often are those meetings over there?
Maybe monthly.
So you would basically go to the next meeting to represent city council, and then we would plan to appoint whoever.
Hopefully on the 28th.
Hopefully whoever we appoint on the 28th would then,
That'd be their first.
that would be their board. I'm
okay with that.
Then I make a motion that we table the appointment of the museum board liaison
Mr. Mayor will.
and Mr. Mayor will attend in the interim.
Okay, we have the motion from Roberts, second from Martinez. Call the vote.
Mosby,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
Mayor Goudelet.
Yes. That concludes our new business. We'll move on to city manager report. Yeah. Dan, we're all done for the night on any of our legal questions. You have a good evening.
Mr.
Okay, have a
Mayor,
good night.
did we put Mr. Mullins on the golf course? Is that?
No, because we didn't remove Nanette.
Oh, okay, that's what she's stating.
Stacy, you're up.
March 12th, I met with Dr. Snyder from the Rocky Ford School District regarding Washington and Jefferson school grounds. They've been installing new irrigation along the 11th Street frontage. They're reseeding it with natural grass, not like the nice playground grass. At that time, he told me they were going to remove the playground equipment at Washington due to insurance reasons. It's done.
It's gone.
It's gone.
I watched it drive by.
I know where some of it's at.
On my yard.
They will be adding fencing back to the Burrell side, on Burrell Avenue on the Jefferson side.
Did you say natural grass and not like green?
Native.
Like, so it's not going to be fun grass. It's going to be
It's what's up at the school now. I also met with Sally Cope and Darren Garcia to walk through the terms relating to the year-round MOU and lease, and then we actually met with them at work session. Following that, the 16th, I attended the Rocky Ford Rural Fire Protection District monthly meeting. The 19th, the mayor and I and Sally Cope met with the Colorado Preservation Inc. about the Adobe Stalls project. I know Mayor has more to add to that in his report, but we discussed a workshop to repurpose the Adobe bricks from the deteriorating section of the stalls, which is to the south. Roofing repairs identified as a priority, and volunteers will be needed for the workshop. That date is to be determined at no cost to the city. The project will be fully funded by Colorado Preservation Inc. On Saturday, the 21st, Councilman Martinez and I put on a small yard sale at the library. Items for sale were bookshelves, bookends, racks, tables, chairs, monitors, keyboards, seasonal decorations, looking to clear out that conference room to make it more functional and an inviting space. We did already move the cafeteria tables in that was donated by the school. The tables they will be more easily able to store it because they fold up, and adding more chairs and that are stackable.
How's your yard sale?
Not well. We'll do another one probably in June once the after-school programs.
Better advertising.
We were wanting the new library director to be there, but she was at state wrestling with her daughter. So, and then I wanted to note that on Thursday the 26th, there's a regional recovery symposium. It's hosted at the public safety building. It's a disaster recovery training for emergency managers and local officials. Foundational recovery topics designed to strengthen preparedness across Colorado, and I want to thank our public safety leadership team for hosting and supporting these regional collaborations. I don't know if you want to give the update of Fowler PD. Not on the report, but just a development today.
So as part of the direction from the City Council on selling assets that we no longer need, the Fowler Police Department communicated that they had need for some vehicles. They came out today and checked out a couple of our vehicles and are interested in purchasing one of our Tahoes and one of our Chargers for the price of $12,000 for both. So they're interested in that. They have a city council meeting on April 9th to see if that is going to be approved, pending our current city council's approval of the same. Both vehicles would be sold to them fully equipped, minus the radios, which we would be keeping as we would find a place for those radios. But that would help our community, and it would also help that community as well.
And to note on this one, we received an offer from another governmental agency, another law enforcement agency. If these ones were put up for public sale, they would have to be
yeah, they would have to be decommissioned as police vehicles. The emergency lights and sirens and all that stuff would need to be taken out prior to public sale. That would cost time, energy, effort to be able to do that, to make it available to the public. Plus, with the removal of some of that stuff, it would make it less appealing to operate as well. So I would probably, in my opinion, get less money out of it. But being able to help out one of our communities by providing them with equipment that they can use, I think is best.
Can I ask, Blue Book?
I have, this week we inspected them today, and then I prepped for the city council meeting. So I have not had the opportunity to do Blue Book. So I can absolutely do that and bring that back for next.
Just out of curiosity.
And if we could, I guess, just kind of get a consensus, is council interested in moving forward? Yes. If so, based on the timing, we would be looking at doing a special meeting.
As long as it's close to Blue Book, I mean, help them out, but we don't want to be.
I think we're going to be pretty close, especially with the law enforcement equipment in there.
When they get rid of these on fire department.
Some of these vehicles.
It's only if it's owned by the rural
It
fire
also
board.
wasn't on the agenda, you know.
Now, let me ask this, well, Dad's no longer there.
Let's make sure we have.
Is there going to be any kind of legal, because they weren't up for bid?
Well, it's intergovernmental,
So,
shouldn't hit our
and that's the
purchasing
thing, if we put them up for bid, like they said, we have to completely.
What I'm saying is there some ramification because we don't put them up for bid?
I mean, does it go against our
Does it go
policy?
against our purchasing policy if it's intergovernmental? I'm hoping it's fine intergovernmental like that.
Even still, our purchasing policy gives discretion. So, you know, we do want to do everything and open it up.
We
and
can
give
override
that
our
transparency.
policies.
I know, I just want to make sure we're clear with what.
Right,
No,
but we can also
agreed.
look at the factors and consider other factors. So that's always there, but yeah, it wasn't on the agenda, this is just coming up. I heard about this a couple hours ago, you heard about this right now. So yeah, we want to bring this back as a special meeting.
And just on that same kind of note, if our purchasing policy is got any question to it, maybe we can have Dan or I can look at it. Maybe we need to add an addendum that says intergovernmental stuff with our PD or our fire when we're helping another, that's okay without having to go through
The bid process.
you know what I mean? Because I don't want to have to tie something up because our purchasing policy says to do something this way when it's helping out a fellow, department. So.
All right, so we'll kind of work with you, Chief and Stacy, and look for a date that works, and then yeah, I guess maybe if you could pull some Blue Book value on those two vehicles.
But a tentative, yes, please.
Good job. Since we're talking about AGZAs and purchasing policies and stuff, I would like to let the city council know that the City of La Junta Police Department did donate a bicycle to the police department here in Rocky Ford, so we now have a official Rocky Ford Police Department bicycle. So
thank you.
Pretty excited about that because not just my personally owned one. I think that's important because, man, I'll tell you what a better way to police and get out in the community than get on a bicycle.
And it has lights.
And it does have lights and sirens pursuant to our policies in Colorado state law.
And I thank you for the example that you're setting to the youth out there wearing your proper protective.
I was in a hurry.
We're trying to keep an eye on our community.
And I appreciate that. Yeah, I was in a
First
hurry
warning's
one
free.
day. I left the door open and it still said I was closed. And he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Sure." Is that why I did that? That's the only reason he stopped by. So I appreciate
It is great that he
the
stopped
keeping
by.
an eye out.
Thank you, Chief. So yeah, be on the lookout. We'll be posting the special meeting.
That's any questions?
Anything else in the manager report?
Good job.
All right, we'll move on to council reports. Councilman Martinez.
Well, obviously we've heard before. I've been busy, but I'd like to invite everybody to check out the library. I mean, we've seen some changes. We're going to see some more. Just simple things, cleaning up, purging some of that surplus stuff. That room, it's amazing. We have more seating than we had in there before, and yet it seems like we have almost twice the amount of space just by removing some of the stuff that was in there. I'm sure your people were in there the past couple of days and saw the difference. We've moved some books around. We've got some bookends back on the shelves that originally went with them. We need people on that library board. If you're interested, get a hold of Stacy, get a hold of Sonia over at the library, or myself. I can put you in touch with either of them. We've got some fun stuff. I hope that's coming in the summer, and some programs that we're going to revive that we've had in the past. I know Sonia's on top of some things right now, and I think that we just need to keep moving forward. That's all I got this week.
All right, Arts Commission, we did have a meeting on March 17th at the Grand. All the meetings with our commission are at the Grand at 6 p.m. Our next one will be on April the 21st at 6 p.m. at the Grand. Some of the things discussed was recently had some vandalism done to the handicap toilets. Just throwing a bunch of paper towels, everything flooding in place, I guess. So if you have your kids going, please remind them to be respectful. Also had some vandalism on the outside of the building, the marquee and the front door, windows, everything with the TP, eggs were thrown at them, everything. Just kids misbehaving, you know, I mean, but still, you know, just please, if you have kids that are on the ball, let them know that anytime they go and do stuff like that, it costs them money to clean up, fix up. They also discussed about offering punch cards, 5 passes for $25, which is a $5 per visit per show. You can use it one at a time or multiple if you take a family. The 5 will be $25. You can buy a book or like a gift card set up, 10 for $50. A little reward with those with the 25, if I remember correctly, you're going to be a free soda. And if you do the $50 one, you get a free soda and a free popcorn, if I remember correctly how we worked it out. So, and your card will be good for 1 year. So we're working on that. They also discussed combining the orders of snacks and drinks with the pool to try to get better prices on the commodities. So they're going to be doing that. They're in the process of trying to get the electric easel or electric bulletin poster board to showing upcoming movies inside the lobby. Looking to do that in the lobby for upcoming shows. On May the 7th, the Lower Arkansas Valley Water Conservative District will have an event. I guess we're going to have snacks. I'm not sure if they're going to be showing a movie. Last year they showed Mirasol, or Mirasol. So about the water with the valley. So on May the 7th, they'll be doing probably something similar, have some snacks. So also this fall, it was discussed the Las Animas School District would like to have a show or to show something for the kids and be open to the public also. My understanding, it'd be free, so that'd be later in the fall. They had some money that they need to spend, so they wanted to share it with Rocky Ford. So thank you, Las Animas. Also, the Ark Valley Casa, I'm not sure what that is, but they're interested in renting of the theater for some event that they're going to be having. Past shows were Hopper. Hopper did really well over the weekend. On the second weekend, they had about 400. And with the first week, I'm not sure what they did show, but it was there for 2 weeks. On April the 3rd, they'll be showing Super Mario Galaxy for 2 weeks. That's a new release. So that's going to be coming up on this Friday, next Friday, the 3rd. And also their webpage, the Rocky Ford Theater has a webpage. It is up and running. It'll be rockyfordtheater.com. And I guess when you go into there, it might be slow or something, or I haven't tried it myself yet. RockyFordTheater.com. You can go in there. You can see what's coming up, shows, what's presently showing. Also, any kind of old video or posters going back to 1990 or so for movies that have been shown, or even some that weren't shown, but we have posters, are going to be put on the web page. You can go in there, see if there's a movie poster that you would like to purchase. And they're also going to discuss possibly displaying 1 or 2 posters in the lobby area that'll be up for sale. So as you go into the show, you can see what's there. So if you're a movie poster enthusiast, got a bunch of posters there. You can support the theater by buying ads. Rent the theater. I'm sorry. You can rent the theater. You can rent a movie. Sponsor a movie. Buy snacks to eat in or take out. purchase the old posters or just make donations, you know? That's about it for now. So just remember, next meeting, April 21st, 6 p.m. at the Grand. We do have one opening for the board. I think there's a couple other openings. Just the one on the board?
Just one.
One on the board.
And they're very friendly. Let me show.
There you go.
Hey, question on the ads. Can we get whatever the form is to get an ad on our Facebook or on our website for Rocky Ford, so somebody can fill it out or print it? Because I personally have found it hard to figure out what it costs to put an ad without having to go in and bother somebody.
At the theater?
And because they're all volunteers, the only time they're there is when they're busy.
Just go see Mike at the bank.
Wow. But again, Mike's at the bank. He's working.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I did have a flyer.
Any of that accessible online.
If it's something online, then
yeah.
we should, make it a little bit easier.
And I had flyers because I went to Lahana passing them out, showing the fees.
Because, I think it's a great thing that we offer advertising on our screen, and there's more people who would like to utilize that.
And it's not that expensive. I can't
No,
remember
it's dirt
what it
cheap.
was. It starts like $15 or something if I remember
It's
correctly.
ridiculously
Yes.
cheap.
But I'll look into that. Thank you.
Nanette?
I don't have anything to report.
Cool.
So, mainly the thing we're working on right now over at the chamber is getting ready for the Easter, community Easter egg hunt. That's coming up on April 4th. That is a joint effort between the Rocky Ford Police Department, Rocky Ford Fire Department, Dispatch Communication Center, and the chamber. We're gonna join together and do it all. It will be at 2 different locations this year. We're not going to be at Babcock Park. We're moving everything down into town. We will have 2 older age groups starting at 10 a.m. at Washington and Jefferson. They'll be split in the 2 different fields. At 10:15, we'll do the younger 2 age groups at Library Park. And the chamber will be serving breakfast for $5 a plate. There will be a golden egg for each age group. And the prizes for those golden eggs are going to include things to do stuff around town. A theater pack, you'll get to choose. Whoever wins, you get to choose which one you like. From like a theater pack, a pool pass, or like rec sports registration. So we're going to do things, we're going to give your kids things that get them to do things within the community. So hopefully everybody's able to come out and do that. We did do the split time in case you have kids in the older age groups and the younger age groups so that you could shuffle back and forth between the 2 places. Also that evening we will have a dance at the Govan Building from 8 to 1. I'm going to ask Dwayne to read the name of this band because I don't want to butcher it.
Hermanos Portillo. So it's kind of like.
And there's a female lead singer in this band, and the tickets are going to be $25 at the door. Keep in mind, I don't set those prices. Those prices are set by the bands that we bring in. So it kind of just depends on what the band charges as to what we're going to be charging at the door. So this one apparently is a little more expensive. So the price to get in the door is a little more expensive. But we will have, we usually have a food vendor cooking in the kitchen, and we'll have the bar open. So come by and check it out. The only other thing I've got going on is April 1st will be our April Rocky Free Kitchen meal from 5 to 7 p.m. in the baggage room. This month we will be serving the Southwest Chicken Bowl. That will come with all the fixins, rice, beans, chicken, and all the toppings and stuff like that. For dessert will be banana pudding topped with vanilla wafers and homemade whipped cream. So thank you to V. Montoya, thank you to Isaiah Cordova, Jane Wheeler. Those are our board members. My husband and I also sit on that board. And thank you to everyone that has come out and helped us. CCOM has donated lately to give us for a couple of meals. Homestay Security has donated recently. And of course the chamber donates the space. So if you are looking for a time to volunteer and you don't really want to commit yourself to a board or something, stop by on a Wednesday, first Wednesday of every month, and we can find you something to do. My last plug is that the chamber does have one board seat open. We are not as desperate as everybody else. So I guess go to the other boards first, but we'd still take you. And we meet every third Thursday at 6:30 unless something's going on. Like last week was spring break, so we're meeting this Thursday. So that's all I got.
All right, I'll try to breeze through mine. March 12th, did a tour of the new Osborne apartments. So, you know, Valleywide does the on-site management. They do services over there. So Valleywide and then the Yeehaw group under the health department went over there and just kind of did a tour of the place. I know, I think they said they had two of the 2 bedrooms open at that time. So I was able to look inside one of the 2 bedrooms, and they're nice. They come furnished. And looks good over there. So I was really happy, kind of noted in here to see numerous, I don't know how many, you know, probably 10 different people that are locals. So yeah, I think that's great. I know that was a big concern. So, you know, seeing that we do have people from Rocky Ford and then kind of extending into Otero County and Valley, that housing is supporting the need here in our area.
And you said there's a couple empty units right now?
That was, I guess 2 weeks ago, there was 2 of the 2 bedrooms.
Okay, that was it?
Awesome. March 13th, attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for Boss's Pizza, Chicken and Sports Bar on Main Street. So if you haven't been over there, go check them out. They have late hours, so I think that fills a huge gap that we've had here, so having somewhere to go and dine later in the evening. And thank you to First National Bank of Colorado for sponsoring that grand opening. They did kind of purchased pizzas for all the attendees there. March 16th, had the OPLE meetings, just general action there, so approve the financials, got the monthly reports, nothing on the OP side, there were no action items there. March 19th, along with Stacy and Sally, we met with Katie Peterson from the Colorado Preservation Inc. To discuss funding opportunities for a workshop to rehabilitate the Adobe stalls at the fairgrounds. So what it will look like is a 2-day workshop in May or June, said to get our hands dirty and repair damaged stalls. So there is a kind of an Adobe expert who's coming out. I don't know if he came out this week or if he's going to be coming out soon. He's going to be passing through Rocky Ford. He's going to take a look, kind of do an assessment, put a game plan together, and then in either May or June we'll have that 2-day workshop. And what it'll be is kind of look at reclaiming some of the Adobe bricks to bring some of the stalls back to 100% usability, looking at the roofing and all of that there.
But not a day of making bricks, because that is a process.
Yeah, this one, we asked about that. This one isn't going to be making bricks, so for this we'll be trying to reclaim bricks from some of the stalls that are a little farther down. But when we do get that date, it'll be shared far and wide, and let's get over there and help repair those. It sounded like, you know, I've heard of that last time, and it kind of seemed like it was just a few years ago, but it was really in 2007. So
it's been a while.
It's been a long time, and it'd be great to, almost 20 years later to do something similar again. I noted on here March 24th, but that was, I think we're scheduled for March 30th to meet for the kickoff call with the Thriving Communities Grant. So we'll be working with Stantec for technical assistance and the assessment. So we'll be joining that with Stacy and Rick Long. Have CML Executive Board March 27th. And then this will come up before our next meeting, so I wanted to note CDS will be hosting a community baby shower. That'll be over at the fairgrounds at the event center. It'll be from 2 to 6 p.m. And there will be some of the community partners there, some of the different organizations that provide services to mothers or expecting mothers or those with young families. So get out there. I think this will be the 3rd year. The first year was at the Gobin, last year was at Otero College, and then back here at the fairgrounds. And then updates, Circle K development, they received general approval with those design changes we all talked about last time, so that's moving forward with CDOT. Met with an entrepreneur who is working on something just so big and grand. It's amazing, and I know he did ask to at some point come and talk to council. But he's working on plans for a community energy project for southeastern Colorado. It would be a biomass power plant in Lahana that will generate approximately 30 megawatts of electricity, enough to serve the combined needs of up to 17 communities across southeastern Colorado. So just he has the report and proposal together. It's it is so interesting just kind of hearing and I think we talked for about 30 minutes, but in that time, just kind of crammed so much of the technology and all of that. Again, this is in Lahana that he'll be planning this, but it does have potential if it were to turn into something that possibly be another option for us. I know he's focusing over there, but I think he's kind of making his way around some of the towns, just letting them know that he's working on this. And then finally, several discussions about concerns on the different boards. That's all I have on my report. Questions? As always, anything comes up, just shoot me an email, let me know.
Should I turn the heat on?
I can tell
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to apologize to the community, everybody here for my little outburst earlier with Mr. Mullins. It was uncalled for me. I should have just kept my mouth shut. So I'm sorry. Should be better.
Thank you, Councilman. That's it for council reports. We'll open it up for second public comment. We'll look to the audience first. Look to Zoom. All right, our next upcoming council meeting, we will have a work session on Tuesday, March 31st from 2 to 4 p.m. And we will have our next regular meeting on Tuesday, April 14th, 6 p.m. No other business. Call meeting adjourned, 8:30 p.m.